Late today, the U.S. Justice Department launched an investigation into the city of Chicago and its hiring practices.
It centers on whether discrimination is at play inside City Hall, given the large number of, quote, black officials the DOJ says have been hired by the Johnson administration. CBS News Chicago political reporter Chris Ty joins us now to sort out what we know at this point.
Joe and Erica, in Department of Justice terms, this is lightning fast reaction to comments made yesterday by Mayor Johnson at a church in Woodlawn. He was talking about the number of black officials in his administration. Here was the comment that set this all in motion.
The deputy mayor is a black woman. Department of Planning and Development is a black woman. Infrastructure deputy mayor is a black woman. Chief operations officer is a black man. Budget director is a black woman. Senior advisor is a black man. And I'm laying that out because when you ask how do we ensure that our people get a chance to grow their business, having people in my administration that will look out for the interest of everyone, and everyone means you have to look out for the interests of black folks.
The Justice Department citing that exact moment in this letter to Mayor Johnson today, saying if these kind of hiring decisions are being made for top-level positions in your administration, then it begs the question whether such decisions are also being made for lower-level positions. Title VII of the Civil Rights Act prevents employment discrimination, but there are major exceptions, including hiring at places of worship and political appointments, like Johnson's senior staff that he listed Sunday.
They would not be considered employees under Title VII. So even if it were true that he was going out of his way to hire people of a particular race, that would not violate the law.
Carolyn Shapiro from the Chicago Kent College of Law says the DOJ assumption that since Johnson's senior staff is mostly black, that there's discrimination at play is a leap.
It's an enormous leap to say that because Brandon Johnson's top deputies and policymaking positions are African American, that the city is discriminating on the basis of race in its hiring of ordinary non-policymaking employees.
Our people hire our people.
Mayor Johnson, who's been called to Capitol Hill by conservative legislators angry over Chicago's sanctuary city status, has been a repeated target of the Trump White House. Johnson has himself compared Trump policies to terrorism. Late today, his team saying Mayor Johnson is proud to have the most diverse administration in the history of our city. Our administration reflects the diversity and values of Chicago. Unfortunately, the current federal administration does not reflect either. Late today, the mayor's team offered this racial makeup of his 105 employee staff. 34% are black, 30% white, 23% Hispanic, 7% Asian, 5% two or more ethnicities. The DOJ, by the way, is asking the mayor to reach out to continue the investigation and provide materials as they ask for it. And of course, we'll be following it every step of the way.
All right, Chris.
All right. Let's stop that right there. You already know what it is, man. Peace and blessings, everybody. It's your boy, Jay Taylor. Voices for the voiceless. Hope everybody's having a great morning. Now, as you can see, the title, Message to Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, Part 6. And oh, do we got a lot to talk about because Brandon Johnson done put himself in another little pickle right quick. Now, as you just heard the news clip, Brandon Johnson was at a church and was talking about how many black people he has in his administration and basically race baiting to get the black people because his approval rating is so low. He understands that midterms are right around the corner. So his base is largely black people. So that's all that was about. Oh yeah, because we do this, we got a black this, we got a black that. What does it matter? But see, you put your foot in your mouth because you just went before Congress to try to explain why you are a sanctuary city. So everything you say out your mouth, Mayor Brandon Johnson, them people is trying to trip you up. And let's be clear, Brandon Johnson does not have a good viewpoint from the community. And we're going to prove that. Your approval rating is trash. You don't care about the black community. You are actually prioritizing illegal immigrants over the black community. See, I not had this conversation with my son because he don't seem to understand. I say, son, you trying to get you a summer job right now. And it's some jobs that could be easier for you to find if we didn't have so many illegal immigrants. When Trump was in office, it was more jobs than people. I remember at one point. But now, these companies, they can hire illegal immigrants under the table and don't even have to pay what they would have to pay you. Minimum wage. You know what I'm saying? See, what Brandon Johnson has done is basically put a target on himself. Because make no mistake, if a white public official came out and said, look, yeah, I got a black this, a white chief of this and a white this in my office. We here to represent white people in my administration. That would be deemed as racist. But since Brandon Johnson is black, that make it okay to just come out here and, you know, and I really don't care about that. But my message in part 6, man, Brandon Johnson, you need to watch what fly up out your mouth. Because now you got the DOJ all in your business. Because you've talked so much craziness about Donald Trump and his administration and how you was not going to comply with the administration as far as illegal immigration concerned. You done went before Congress and tried to explain all of this sanctuary city status. So anything and everything that you do, they watch you like a hawk. So we're going to run that back right quick, man, because I want y'all to get a full understanding of what the investigation is about. So let's get to that. Let's run that back with another news clip, though.
Now, they certainly have, Rob and Cheryl. The mayor's comments yesterday prompting a barrage of social media posts calling for an investigation. And today, we heard from the Department of Justice.
The U.S. Department of Justice opening up a civil rights investigation into the city of Chicago. The DOJ specifically looking into the city's hiring practices. This comes after remarks Mayor Brandon Johnson made at the Apostolic Church of God in Woodlawn yesterday, where Mayor Johnson shared his vision for the rest of his term, emphasizing education, public safety, and equity. Johnson also saying his administration is one of the most diverse in the city's history.
There are some detractors that will push back on me and say, you know, the only thing that the mayor talks about is the hiring of black people. No, what I'm saying is when you hire our people, we always look out for everybody else. We are the most generous people on the planet.
In a letter to the mayor's office, the DOJ says Johnson's comments highlighting the number of black officials in his administration prompted this investigation.
Business and Economic Neighborhood Development, the deputy mayor is a black woman. Department of Planning and Development is a black woman. Infrastructure deputy mayor is a black woman. Chief Operations Officer is a black man. Budget director is a black woman. Senior advisor is a black man.
Assistant Attorney General Harmeet Dillon stating in the letter.
Now hold fast. Let's talk about that right quick, because you ain't said nothing slick. Because the city is in horrible shape. It is in $1 billion deficit. Education is at its worst. School kids in the city of Chicago, 1 out of 4 ain't even on grade average. And they for their grade. You know what I'm saying? Everything is through the roof. Your administration is the worst administration Chicago has ever seen. So with you saying all that, because they black, what do that mean? You just made black people look crazy. You could have kept that, dog. You really could have kept that, because the city of Chicago is in horrible condition, bro. That don't say nothing. Just because you had a bunch of black people, what you saying black people were incompetent? Because to me, it would seem that you trying to throw black people under the bus in all actuality, because the city sucks right now, and your approval rating as a black man in office is under 10%. Never seen before. Never seen nobody approval rating under 10%. But you got the nerve to get on a church and pander. That's what's so much insulting. You're pandering for the black vote, because you know without the black vote, you wouldn't have been able to get back in office. That's how you got there the first time. But I don't think people falling for that whole you black stuff no more, because you've done such a horrible job.
Letter in part, if these kinds of hiring decisions are being made for top-level positions in your administration, then it begs the question whether such decisions are also being made for lower-level positions. Already reaction coming in from City Hall leaders.
Hearing what he said and seeing this this investigation taking part, unfolding today, I think validates the concerns many people have throughout the city of Chicago, that this isn't a mayor for everyone.
We just received a statement from the mayor's office in the past half hour saying in part, quote, Mayor Johnson is proud to have the most diverse administration in the history of our city. Our administration reflects the diversity and values of Chicago. Unfortunately, the current federal administration does not reflect either. Rob and Cheryl, we will be following this story throughout the night, and we'll have more developments.
And you still popping slick. You still talking crazy, Brandon Johnson. That's what's crazy. You still throwing shots at the Trump administration. This dude, man, you just love playing with fire, bro. That's why we on part 6, man. Because I don't want to see it to happen to you, actually, man. You a brother. So, but all this, you hide them because they black. They black. That's why you got an office. DEI, ring a bell, diversity, equity, and inclusion. The most diverse. Nah, see, that's why Trump said we're going to do a merit base and get rid of that DEI crap, because it shouldn't matter the color of your skin. Are you qualified for the position? That's all that should matter. I don't care if you white, black, purple, or green. Are you qualified? Because I don't think you're qualified. Clearly you're not. You were a grammar school teacher. I don't even know how you went from a social studies teacher to becoming the mayor of Chicago. I don't get it. I don't know how that happened, but you are a DEI hire. And we thought we couldn't get no worse than Lori Lightfoot, but here come Brandon Johnson. You make black people look bad, bro. You make black people look bad. And the black community ain't been fooling with you. They ain't fooling with you, bro. Oh, so you think I'm playing? You think it's a game? Hey man, let's go for a blast for the past right quick to see how the community feel about Brandon Johnson over here.
So I got a great way how we can what we can do with this budget. First, let's start with cutting off illegals, getting free everything.
Chicago residents called out Mayor Brandon Johnson at a city council meeting for spending $500 million of the city's budget on sheltering migrants.
In January, ICE gonna come in and get rid of the illegal immigrants. Here's the thing. In order for us to get these taxes, we gotta get rid of these illegals.
The money has been going to the New Arrivals Mission, a program designed to provide short-term emergency shelter to meet the needs of the humanitarian crisis. The program was started in 2022 and
hold on, man. Look at these illegal immigrants, man. They having a good time, man. Look at Shorty with the blue on. You mean to tell me these people, Shorty G'd up, man. He over there chilling, got his glasses on with his iPhone 16 or something like that. Hey, man, they over there kicking it. They got, man, groceries. They just waiting on, you know what I'm saying? They check to hit their pocket, bro. And then they what luxury hotel they gonna be staying in, you know what I'm saying, for the duration of their stay, man. Shorty over there chilling, cold chilling, man. Dressed better than the Chicago residents that you talked about. You here to, you know, all the black people that you capping for. But see, like I said, I told my son, man, I say, look, man, they could pay them under the table, cut you right out. When Trump was talking about they taking your black jobs and people got offended by that, what he was saying was the little jobs that, you know, high school and college kids could be getting for the most part, they could undercut y'all and get those summer jobs and seasonal jobs to people that are not even citizens, and then double back and tax you for it. Nothing beat a cross but a triple cross.
And has since cost the city $574.5 million. In addition to the strain the initiative is placing on the budget, the city is staring down a budget deficit of $1 billion. In an attempt to fill the gap, Johnson proposed a roughly $60 million property tax increase at the city council meeting. Residents wasted little time in responding.
Then let's start with your salary. You are going down in history as the worst mayor in America.
It's going to be an audit. Next, it's going to be an investigation. Then it's going to be an indictment.
Well, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. Oh, I like that. Oh my God. I like that. That's bad.
Conviction. That's what's going to happen to you.
Johnson's office reminded residents in April of the hundreds of thousands of asylum seekers bused north to Chicago by Texas Governor Greg Abbott.
See, this is what I'm saying, man. We talking about $1 billion. You talk about 60 million, 574 million here. All for illegal immigrants, man. When have you invested that kind of money in the black community that you sit up here at this church capping about? You ain't never spent the 2 years you've been in office. You ain't never invested no 60 million, no 500 million, none of that in the black community. But for illegal immigration, oh, you trying to remind people like, oh, remember, man, they shipped them from Texas up here on the bus. We got to take care of them. I got to raise your property taxes. I got to raise everything so we can take care of them. But you need the black people vote, though. Well, you ain't did nothing for the black community. Come on, man, knock it off.
The new arrivals mission will be slowly phased out at the end of the year, bringing a halt to the program's spending. But Johnson has stated the city will continue to be a sanctuary for non-citizen migrants. At a news conference following the city council meeting, Johnson said he and the city council will work to balance the budget, but insists he's discussing progressive revenue with state and congressional leaders.
We have made a commitment, my administration, to pensioners and to workers and to families in this city. The budget will be balanced. The budget will include investments. The ultimate work is to have real progressive revenue at the state level.
Man, bro, I'm just saying, man. Y'all see this? The type of money that this man has spent on illegal immigration, but got the nerve to pander to black people. All of that is rhetoric. All of that is theatrical to try to tie you in emotionally because you see a black man in a black church talk about how many black people in his administration when he has done absolutely nothing for the black community, but put the city of Chicago into $1 billion deficit. insane, bro. And I just don't understand how soon people forget. But when they saw you making them statements at that church, oh yeah, social media went off the chain, bro. Like I told you, they watching your every move. I told you from part one, you putting a spotlight on your back, and you gonna be the fall guy. Governor Pritzker, yeah, they've been talking about him. But you, Brandon Johnson, yeah, you gonna be the fall guy. And just in case people don't remember, man, Chicago ain't rocking with you like that. Let's bring back this deficit, man. Let's talk about this deficit you got the city.
It's video gaming, whether it's sales tax on services, whether it's looking at our enterprise zone parameters, whether it's looking and declaring additional TIF surplus, everything is on the table.
Chicago's facing a new round of money troubles. This time it's looking at a roughly $982 million budget deficit for next year.
The major shortfall creating concerns for property owners.
WGN's Dana Rebick joins us live with reaction. Dana.
Well, this is big sticker shock for Chicago residents hearing about this budget shortfall. Today, it is nearly double what last year's fiscal year projections were, and residents now concerned about how the city will need to close the gap.
I hope for the best, but I prepare for the worst. That's really basically all you can do.
Chicago resident Kathy Villanueva braces each time the city's budget projections are released. This time, there is a $982 million shortfall for 2025.
$1 billion it's a scary number, but it's a manageable number, I think.
The budget gap attributed to a number of factors: a reduction in corporate revenue tax, a $175 million pension payment to Chicago public schools, increased labor costs, and $150 million to continue supporting new arrivals.
I think in many ways that is the biggest question mark surrounding the budget forecast that was released just today. You know, the city, by all indications, has spent some.
Man, 175 million. Every time we talk about this man and illegal immigrants, it's always some astronomical number. Like, oh yeah, this time around, let's give them 175 million at the taxpayers' expense. Are you insane, bro? You got to be insane. And to sit up here and talk about how black your administration is, violating codes of discrimination on a federal level. Bro, my message to you is tread lightly. You already got a target on your back, bro. For you to be out here loose at the lip, sinking ships, nah, man, you ain't in no position, and you don't have a city behind you. Chicago is one of them cities, man. If you get in trouble and the city ain't behind you, you ain't got no you ain't got no representation. You get in trouble, man, with the federal government, and I told you, you go against the Trump administration, knowing this man about to come into office, they gonna be on your bumper. If you'd have made that statement, they wouldn't even, and you was in accordance with they wouldn't even have cared about that. But everything you say, they gonna be on you. They gonna be on you, bro. I'm just saying.
Somewhere in the neighborhood of about $500 million on the mission, really, since the number of arrivals really ramped up in 2022.
Mayor Brandon Johnson promised during his campaign he would not raise property taxes to balance the budget. Now residents worried how the city will close the gap.
I don't think he's going to have much of a choice. I mean, because besides, we have the deficit with the city, we have CPS needing more money. The money's going to have to come from somewhere. And unfortunately, it usually comes from the homeowners.
I moved from Indiana to here. I'm going back to Indiana.
Hey, my man said I moved from Indiana to Chicago. Why you did that? I don't know, bro. Why you moved from Indiana to Chicago? Maybe because the jobs pay more. But Indiana is a red state. Chicago is blue. The taxes in Chicago, and then for people that don't know, Chicago and Indiana is, neighboring states. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna tell you what it is. People that live in Chicago, especially that's close to the border, that's on the east side of Chicago, the south side, in the east side, southeast side, to the south suburbs, go to Indiana to get their gas, get their cigarettes, go grocery shopping, because everything is cheaper in Indiana because it's a red state. Now, the jobs don't pay as well in Indiana that they do in Chicago, but you can kind of, the trick is this: you can kind of live in Indiana, you know what I'm saying, work in Chicago, or you could live in Chicago. If you live close to the border, you can get all your items from Indiana because it's much cheaper. The taxes are a lot better, so it kind of balances out on that. But once you know, I would rather choose Indiana any day to live in because the taxes is too high, especially when you got an idiot like Brandon Johnson in office that's steady raising it higher and prioritizing illegal immigrants over the citizens. And like I said, man, it's nothing against these illegal immigrants. It's the fact that if you want to come in this country, come in the right way, because it's a proper vetting process. You have to be, you just got to come in the right way so you can get acclimated to American life. That way people know, how to manage the financial, the economical scale. So it just ain't no influx of people, and it throws the citizens off, because now they snatching away jobs, they snatching away resources. But see, I thought that this was very good that they had this man right here that kind of illustrated that fact, because I'm telling you, black people, y'all from Chicago, you know what I'm saying? Y'all go definitely get your gas and your cigarettes from Indiana. Let's continue.
Yeah, the Hoosiers don't like this.
The mayor did not comment on whether he would go back on his promise, saying, quote, sacrifices will be made. Johnson considering a hiring freeze and reductions in the city's workforce as options.
They'll have to do many of the things they did last time, look at some spending efficiencies, potentially look at suspending some capital projects.
Residents not envying the decisions the mayor and city leaders must make.
Honestly, I hate doing it. My budget's a lot smaller, so I'm sure he's going to have some sleepless nights.
Mayor Johnson says he does want to minimize the impact to city services and programs. He will be presenting his official plan to City Council in October. They will then go into hearings in November, and will have to vote on this budget by the end of the year.
Okay, yeah. So that's a little, I'm just saying, bro. That's just bringing things back up to speed. But at the end of the day, man, the city is in shambles dealing with you, Mayor Brandon Johnson. The community ain't fooling with you. Your statistics are horrible. Your policies have bankrupted the city. Bro, I'm just saying, the community, the black community ain't fooling with you, man. You had a lot of support when you first ran. The police ain't even fooling with you. You was talking about defund the police, man. How you a mayor and the police don't even fool with you, bro? The police do not fool with Brandon Johnson. Y'all think I'm playing? Man, I'm talking about y'all think I'm playing, man. Let's go here. Yeah, we cracking them out.
Developing tonight, disagreement over how to honor a fallen Chicago police officer.
Enrique Martinez's funeral is Monday, and his loved ones are asking the mayor not to attend, but he says he's going anyway.
Our Jermont Terry shares the perspective from one of Martinez's family friends tonight. Jermont?
Joe and Erica, as the city prepares to honor Officer Martinez, who was killed while on duty. His family, through representatives, making it very clear that the man leading the city should not step foot into the services. Standing outside the 8th Police District, members of the FOP and close friends of fallen CPD officer Enrique Martinez spoke out in solidarity.
Enrique Martinez's family called me up this evening and said they could not do this. They definitely do not want the mayor at any of the functions for Enrique. Plain and simple.
They are here relaying a message from the family directly to Mayor Brandon Johnson. Martinez's family says the mayor's policy for public safety placed Martinez and many Chicago officers in harm's way.
Change the policies that put them at risk.
The mayor honored the wishes of Officer Louise Weska's family earlier this year and did not attend the funeral services. Weska's mother here making sure Martinez's family doesn't endure the back and forth frustration she says she went through with the mayor's office during her grief.
If the mayor really wants to honor, in this case, Enrique Martinez's family, he must respect the Martinez family wishes.
Now these are legal Latino Americans, not illegal. You know what I'm saying? And they ain't fooling with you, and the police, they ain't even fooling with you, bro. You was out here, ran on your campaign that you ran on was to defund the police, right? But in your own security detail, you running around Chicago with 200 officers with you. How can you say defund the police, then turn around and have 200 officers that could be on the streets fighting crime, chasing behind your black ass? Pardon my French. But we got a lack of police presence. I'm just saying, whether you like the police, hate the police, the fact of the matter is you are the mayor of the city, and the police department does not even want you attending the funeral of a fallen police officer in the same city that you claim to serve. Your approval rating sucks, bro. So when I say this is a message to Mayor Brandon Johnson, it's more of a wake-up call, man. Everything you say, everything you do, them people is watching you, waiting for you to slip up. Fall back.
Yet the mayor's office saying he will attend, and a statement saying in part, the mayor of Chicago will attend all honors funeral services for every police officer, firefighter, or EMT who loses their life in the line of duty. These official honor services are solemn moments to honor the sacrifice of our officers and first responders. It is the mayor's honor to support the officers of the entire Chicago Police Department, especially in moments of grief.
This mayor better not show up. That's so disrespectful.
Bro, he says you better not show up. That's heavy.
Now, we should note that Mayor Johnson was at the hospital the night Officer Martinez was killed, and he did offer condolences to the family directly. As of this hour on this Friday night, the mayor says he plans to be there. Reporting live outside the 8th Police District, I'm Jermont Terry, CBS News, Chicago. Eric?
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. And you so arrogant. You so arrogant against the family's wishes. You still gonna go to that man's funeral? You still gonna pop up? Like, you gave a F about the police. Like you gave a F about the community. No, all you cared about was the money that you was getting to be a sanctuary city to take care of illegal immigrants, which black people ain't got nothing against them, but you're not being fair to the citizens, taking away resources, lowering, raising taxes, and then you putting them in the black community. They not going, in the white communities. These illegal immigrants are coming into the black communities. And we got to cover the costs. Well, black people in Chicago got to cover the cost for that. But you got the nerve to get on interview at a church or what have you and run down how many black people in your administration. Like that means something. And you, like I said, a former social studies teacher. And guess what? Like I said, man, the school system sucks. You are a school teacher and you ain't even got the city right on education. I told you we gonna run this down today, man. We gonna run this down today. We gonna walk down and hit them all. Let's talk about the failing school system in Chicago while you talk about how many black people in your administration.
And welcome back to our coverage. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker putting Chicago on a pedestal as a showcase for Democratic policies. But when it comes to things like education, data shows that those policies are getting a failing grade in the city's public schools, and they have for a long time. Garrett Tenney is live in Chicago with more. Hi, Garrett.
Yeah, Dana, good morning to you. Sadly, even describing it as a failing grade seems generous when last year only 1 out of every 4 Chicago public school students could read at grade level, and only 17% were proficient in math. The Chicago Teachers Union argues it's a funding problem and that more money would lead to better results. But since 2019, CPS's budget has grown by more than 57% to more than $9 billion, and there has been almost no significant change in those test scores. And a lot of families here are stuck without options to get their kids out of a failing school.
Students at an 8th grade proficiency, 21% of the students in Chicago can read at a 8th grade proficiency level, do math at that level. This is the plan. This is how it works. This is what happens in J.B. Pritzker's Progressive Illinois.
Now, Mayor Brandon Johnson and the Teachers Union want to spend billions more to invest in schools that arguably should be closed. One glaring example is Douglas Academy High School, which could hold more than 900 students, but last year had an enrollment of just 34, meaning there was 1 teacher for every 5 students compared to the rest of the district that averages 1 teacher for every 19 students. And when it comes to funding, Douglas spent more than 3 times the district average with $68,000.
Where the money going? Because we sure don't see it in the curriculum. We sure don't see it in the infrastructures of the school. Where they spending 3 times the budget. So that means these children should be learning at an astronomical rate, but they're failing at an astronomical rate. You being the mayor of Chicago, former school teacher, I allege you are stealing this money, allegedly, passing it to your teacher friends. So when you get out of office, because you know you ain't going to get reelected, you're going to have some friends to lean on and get you right back in a little safe little job. You can, teach on the side, you know what I'm saying, when you want to, because you done grease some pockets, allegedly.
Dollars per student. Despite all of that, last year, Douglas failed to produce a single student who could do either math or English at grade level. In fact, according to the Illinois Policy Institute, the last time Douglas had a single student proficient in math or reading was 7 years ago. Dana?
Garrett, how is that even possible? That last statistic that you showed, I thought your report's very important and one that we haven't heard enough about from either side on the campaign trail yet. Thank you.
Yeah, man. See, this is what we're dealing with, man. This is what we're dealing with. Failed leadership. And you got the nerve to run down how many black people in your administration? Violating civil rights acts on the federal level? Man, I'm telling you, diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, this is the results of that. So when Trump said, make it a merit-based, if it was merit-based, Brandon Johnson would have never been a mayor because he wasn't qualified to run to run a daycare center, much less a major city, the third largest city in the world. Hey, but that's your boy. You know, we got black this and black that, but every position that you name where a so-called black person is at, I just gave you a whole layout how all of your people in your administration are failing at their jobs. From the education, from the budget, from the community, everything that you name is a failure. But you got the nerve. You try to go up against the Trump administration and criticize them. You got a lot of nerve, Brandon Johnson. My advice and my message to you, for real, is watch what come out your mouth. Watch what you do, because them people are on you. Because if you wasn't hot, see, when the block is hot, it's time to get low. You out here campaigning like the block ain't hot. I told you a long time ago in one of these parts, you don't know how to read the room, Brandon Johnson. And you think it's sweet because they ain't sunk their teeth in you yet. But all right, man. Keep playing goofy games, you're going to win goofy prizes. I don't want to see it happen to you. That's why I don't disrespect you. I'm just pulling your coattail, bro. Because I see the overplay for the underlay. You don't know how to read the room. I see it coming a mile away. What they gonna do is make you the fall guy. I want to see you succeed. I want you to do better. But I don't think you're gonna do that, man. I think you're gonna go ahead, ride it out, continue to race bait to the people and all this and that. And next thing you know, you're gonna try to run for office, know you're gonna lose. But at the end of the day, man, it's your boy Jay Taylor, Voices for the Voiceless. Until next time, we'll talk to you soon. Peace and blessings.